Following one of my most successful videos on YouTube of the departure of the Astoria under tow from the Thames, the world's oldest passenger cruise ship, which departed the Thames and, as far as I'm aware, ended up in Rotterdam, owned by Portuguese owners. The plans were for the ship to be towed to Portugal. As far as I'm aware, the ship is still in Rotterdam. The vessel was chartered to cruise and maritime voyages from Portuguese owners prior to the COVID virus pandemic. I have just found some pictures of the ship, named Athenia, arriving at Dover on the 3rd of September 2010, prior to the ship being renamed Astoria. On this occasion, she had a white hull. As many people would be aware, this ship was originally built for Swedish America Line at Gothenburg, Sweden, as the Stockholm, and was involved with the collision of the Italian liner Admiralty off Nantucket. On the 25th of July 1956, the Admiralty was approaching the coast of Nantucket, Massachusetts, United States, bound for New York City. The eastbound Stockholm of Swedish America Line collided with her in one of history's most infamous maritime disasters. Struck in the side, and the top-heavy Admiralty immediately started to list severely to starboard, which left half of her lifeboats unusable. Sounds a bit like the modern-day disaster, the Costa Concordia. The subsequent shortage of lifeboats could have resulted in a significant loss of life, but the ship stayed afloat for over 11 hours after the collision. Unlike the modern-day disaster, the Costa Concordia, the calm, appropriate behaviour of the crew, together with improvements in communications and the rapid response of other ships, averted a disaster similar in scale to the Titanic in 1912. While 1,660 passengers and crew were rescued and survived, 46 people on the Italian ship died as a direct consequence of the collision. The evacuated luxury liner capsized and sunk the following morning. This incident remains the worst maritime disaster to occur in the United States since the capsizing of the Eastland in Chicago in 1915. The incident and its aftermath were heavily covered by the news media. While the rescue efforts were both successful and commendable, the cause of the collision with the Stockholm, the loss of the Admiralty, generated much interest in the media and many lawsuits, largely because of an out-of-court settlement agreement between the two shipping companies during hearings immediately after the disaster. No determination of the course of the disaster was ever published, although greater blame appeared initially to fall on the Italian liner. More recent discoveries have indicated that a misreading of radar on a Swedish ship, this ship, initiated the cause of the collision, leading to errors on both ships. This ship, the former Stockholm, was heavily rebuilt on the hull of the original ship, Stockholm, which makes it an historic ship despite it being rebuilt and having an upper structure added to the hull. The hull of the ship is still the original Stockholm, as built at Gothenburg, for Swedish America Line. As far as I'm aware, the ship is still in Rotterdam, with plans for her to be towed to Lisbon, Portugal, with Portuguese current owners of the ship. Perhaps the most fitting place for this ship to go would be back to her birthplace of Gothenburg, underneath the giant crane of the former shipyard where the vessel was built. Being the world's oldest ocean liner cruise ship, the former Swedish America Line ship has a place in history and should be preserved. There is no fitting place for her to go, as far as I'm aware, than her original birthplace of Gothenburg. If anyone knows more about what will happen with this ship, please leave your comments below this video. A previous attempt to tow the cruise ship away, involving the tug Monte de Luz, was made, but the tug was having difficulties and so returned to Gravesend with Astoria because of safety concerns. However, this second attempt also had to be abandoned, and Astoria, with her tugs, was forced to return to Tower Wharf after she started listing to port. This is believed to be because of the ship having steering rudder issues. She had not got far away when she was forced to turn round off London Gateway and head back in. It is believed that she was heading for Lisbon, Portugal. The ship had been laid up in Tilbury docks since the spring of 2020, following the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused the Asturia's operators, CMV, to go into administration. The ship avoided further detention because she was chartered and not owned by CMV, and now believed to be owned by Nina SPA, who have reclaimed their cruise ship. The ship was launched in 1948 as the Stockholm for Swedish America Line at Gothenburg in Sweden, and is one of the oldest passenger cruise ships still sailing today. In July 1956, under her previous name, Stockholm, she was involved in a fatal collision that caused the sinking of the liner Andrea Doria in heavy fog off the coast of Nantucket. The ship was heavily rebuilt in the mid-1990s at Genoa in Italy, with the upper structure of the vessel totally rebuilt and replaced. With two unsuccessful tow attempts to tow the vessel away from the Thames, maybe the only option now will be to have the ship piggybacked onto a semi-submersible vessel and taken away wherever the owners intend her to go. Possibly the only two options for the ship now are to have the ship used as an accommodation vessel, or have the ship to be sent away for scrap.